Welcome to Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create, share and play. I hope you enjoy.
I decided to have a go at doing a little video of me making something from nothing. So I have this little page that I've just done in my latest journal. I've never done a big journal like this before and I thought I'd give it a go, but this is the little fella that I'm looking at. So we have him and he's nice and flat, so he fits into a journal. You can open up this little flap, open up this little flap. So you've got lots of little writing space opportunities in here. That was just embossed. These were some beautiful papers that a friend of mine gave me years ago now. So they're just in there for a little bit more note paper. It's mainly some stamping. Whoops, put that little flap. And I just love little hidden flippy flaps. So going to give this a go. I started with just a cardboard sheet. I wanted to cut it down. If I grab my prototype, I guess you'd call it. I'm not a very accurate measurer, so I'm looking at about that size. I'm just holding it against that and we'll just guess. Off you go, kitty cat. Cats, of course, they become curious the second that I start to need quiet. That's the status of this house, which is why most of my videos end up being very, very quiet and just with titles. Not very quiet. Nothing's quiet in this house. What am I talking about? All right, so I'll get my blade and I shall open it up and we'll cut. Oops, that went off a bit. That's okay. I can fix that later. Now, I think I would like it around about that size. So I'm just going to have a bit of a guess. Let's have a look. Make sure you're long enough, maybe a little bit longer. All right, so now if I go from the middle out and the middle out with my bone folder, and I'll do the other side. I love making folds with my bone folder. I remember the day when Mum and I discovered it. We were at a craft show. That was in the days when you didn't have to pay to actually get into the craft shows, and we're at a craft show. It might have been part of Sydney Festival or something like that. Sounds like something we'd do. And we went into a card making little free workshop. Hello, kitty cat. Forgive me, I've just got to give my kitty cat a big cuddle. Hello. She loves to talk, so you'll probably hear her talking quite a bit. She's got a brother as well, and his name's Buster, and her name is Fluffy. All right, so now I have this little card. But yeah, we were at this workshop, and it was the first time ever that we'd seen a bone folder. Thought it was brilliant, and for years you couldn't get them in Australia. They were very hard to find, and now you can even get them in the $2 shop. It's wonderful. Okay, so I'm just going to fold that the other way, go back again, fold it that way. Alrighty, now I'll probably have to cut this video quite a bit. Sorry guys. I'm quite sure my first one will be very, very long while I'm trying to work out what I'm doing with this whole filming thing. All right, so that's our little first card. What I like to do, where's my chomper, is to chomp the corners. Okay, I can't find my chomper, so I'll use this one. And I'll cut the other corner. Excellent. Okie dokie. I'll keep that nearby because I'm quite sure that I'll need that again. I love rounded corners. Something about them. Now the first thing I'm going to do is simply just ink around the edges. So I'm going to grab my stamp pad. So all I'm doing is just very, very quickly using a dauber to go around the edges. Okay, my ink pad is starting to wear out. just in time for my first not live video. Gosh, I wouldn't be game enough to do that yet. But just in time for my first talking instruction video, whatever thing it is that you call this. Okay, there we go. Now we're getting some more. So you can just see around the edges there, weathered kind of feel. Now I like doing the back of the fold as well. Pam at the Paper Outpost taught me that. She's been very inspirational. You should check out her videos. She is so generous and she's so creative and she's fun, and she creates in a way that I think makes it feel more accessible for all of us. She calls it create with reckless abandon. Well, Pam, that's what I'm trying to do today. We'll see how I go, hey? Okay, that's one side. Now I'll just do this other side and then I'll be done with this bit. So I love paper. I've always loved paper. Mum always had to hide the paper and the sticky tape and the scissors. Yeah, so I've always been rather addicted to paper. I've collected it, I've loved it. And now with junk journaling, I found a way to enjoy it. I can make my own books now, I can make my own journals, and there's always a place for every beautiful little piece. I'm just going to do these corners. I'm going to make this into the little card that was at the bottom. I thought I'd do a different pattern on this. I just ran it through my embosser. I'm thinking can sit here on this one. It's nice that they're all a bit different when you make these kind of things. It's really, well, a lot of people I'm sure are good at making them the same. I ain't one of them. Okay, I'll pop you back. I think I might get the grey and put the grey around this one. Next, what I want to do is get a little card bit for the top. Oh, kitty do kitty. So, what I'm thinking is I'd like to use this last little piece of paper that I've got here. So I could use that at the top and maybe that could just sit out on the edge. Oh, that could be quite nice. You often hear us junk journalers go, oh, means look at that. Isn't that interesting? And we find it interesting. I don't know if anyone else does, but we just love it when we see a little something something that looks good. Alrighty, now I'm going to use my ruler. I find if I've got just a little bit on the edge that I want to get off, it's a lot easier. Out of there, kitty. You don't want to go in there. It's a lot easier to hold the ruler on the smaller piece, on the small bit that you want to take off. Really press down and then, okay. Do you know, my kitty cat has never ever gone on the desk. Come here, gorgeous. Hey? Yeah, say hello. Okay, off you go, kitty. And of course today, when I decide to film, she goes on the edge. Okay, so I just lost that end bit there, but it's just easier. The ruler tends to hold, if you have the ruler holding this smaller piece. Will that be big enough? Yes, it will. Woohoo! Love it when you fluke it. One of the things I've learned in junk journaling, I fluke it a lot. Probably a lot more than what I realised, actually. And things just evolve. It's just enjoying the paper. It really, really is. It, I guess, brings me back to that childhood when I used to love cutting up paper and using sticky tape and putting things together. And I remember going into Dad's office one day when I was a kid, and I spent the whole day playing with paper and sticky tape under the secretary's desk. She was beautiful. Bernice, her name was, I think. And apparently it fascinated her. So there you go. But Who'd have thought that I'd still be making and playing with paper? It's actually something I probably do with my son, is look at the sorts of things my kids are interested in now. It's such a insight into their passion when you see what kids are doing when no one's around, what they really enjoy doing, what do they get stuck on, what draws their interest. And my little guy doesn't tend to use words to speak. My little guy, gosh, he's 13 now. So it's quite fascinating, particularly watching him, because he tells us by showing us what he's up to. Okay, so what was I doing? Okie dokie. Now, you. Alrighty, so how about if I just tear you, if I just leave you there, and where's my ruler there? Okay, follow your own rule, Jen. Okie dokie. So it's a little bit quieter today, except for the cats, because I have 2 boys at school at the moment, which is very nice. So I've got a little bit of stolen time in between all the other things we mums do, where I thought I'd just play with the paper. And I thought I'd have a go at making something in front of you guys. Alrighty. Okay. And of course, I'm trying to sound like I know what I'm doing and like I know what I'm on about, but really, I tend to just explore and eventually we create something. I think there's something about the human condition that we need to have creativity in our lives. That's what I think. Alrighty, I think that works. And then you can stick down onto you. Jen, I don't think you tore enough off. Let's just do another little slither. Okie dokie. You know what I was interested in when I was doing a video? I was actually interested in the kind of silly little phrases that I probably say a lot. And guess what? Okie dokie is definitely one of them, isn't it? Okay, there we go. So I'll just do a quick bit of definition around that. Some people don't ink, apparently. I think I need to ink. It helps me cover up all my imperfections. I think that's the main reason I do it. Right, that's going to be my first little gluing piece. I just bring over this little extra mat, then it's a bit easier to glue. I find glue sticks, when you put it all over the surface, actually do quite a good hold. It's one of the things I learned from one of the wonderful book binding videos that I was watching with Faith Hill on Creative Bug. She's rather wonderful, if I do say so myself. Oh no, we'll keep that there so that we can bone it down. And then this is her technique. Well, it's the one that I learnt from her, is that you then use your bone folder to get that pressed down, and then you can burnish it, and you can really then get around the edges as well. So that makes it a very good little tricky thing. All right, so now I've got my 2 pieces. Next, I want to have a look at this one. Here, you've got this little belly band here, so I want to create that. And I actually have this piece that's pre-sewn, so I thought that might be nice with the green. I think once I get the stamping around, that will work. So we'll see, but I might even just need the one piece. So we'll do my very, very precious measuring again. You know that whole measure twice, cut once? Yeah, that's not me. So It really would make life easier, but it's not part of my makeup. I'm a bit of a imperfectionist, I think, rather than a perfectionist. I try and be a perfectionist, and I keep going because I never like the way it turns out, but if I'm honest, I'm really more of an imperfectionist. I think that's definitely a fair assessment. And so here we go. We go round and round, and that should help this piece blend in nicely. I wonder what this will feel like when I watch it as my first one. You may never see it. I may never be heard from again. Alrighty, so now I'll simply do a quick glue, and I am going to just do a little strip along that side, a little strip along that side. Yes, that's worked fine. And down you go. Alrighty. There we go. There we go. And that should work nicely. Excellent. I think we can glue you guys here because I don't intend on doing any stamping behind you. Alrighty, so if I move my ruler, you'll see what a mess I get into now. I can create an absolute disaster zone on my desk. What happens is you get so into the doing and the creating, well, I do, that I end up just continually piling things on top of one another rather than putting things away. Speaking of putting things away, I'll make sure I put the cap on that glue. Alrighty, now I can stick you down onto here at the top, and that'll be the first piece. Here we go. We'll do that little door that I had inside. I've actually got the same paper for that. It was from the same piece of scrapbook paper that I picked up from, what do you call it, the reject shed or whatever it is. And so I think I'll just use that because that makes it a lot easier. Now, I wonder when will be the first thing that I'll go, oops, should have done that first. There's always something. Because I'm not a very good planner, which is probably why I like the process of junk journals, I often do things in the wrong order because I haven't thought about it ahead of time. So I don't suggest anybody else does it my way. But I do find that junk journals help me because it means that I find something different to create. I find something new that I hadn't thought of before with all those lovely happy accidents. So I make lots and lots of oopsies, and then it's quite nice because it leads you somewhere sometimes that you weren't expecting or that you hadn't considered. Okay, so now the final little piece that I would like in there is this piece. So I've just got to work out where I'm going to cut it. Do I want less on that end or do I want, okay, I think it's got to be that end. So let's just follow that line. Let's see how that goes. You know, might be a disaster, has been a disaster before, but we'll see what we end up with. Okey dokey. You can go inside there. Perfect. Perfect. Because, well, it's exactly what I wanted anyway. Don't know if perfect is the right description. I thought this would be really nice with just some of my coffee dyed paper that I had underneath. Let's have a look. Is that piece wide enough? Not really, but that could be quite nice with that sort of half and half feel. I'm going to go with that. And I'm just going to tear that bit off. I really love torn edges. I think they're just absolutely gorgeous to look at. Now, before I put that down, what I'm going to do is this. So I'm just going to go along that edge. See, I remembered something before the next step. You wait, it's coming. There'll be something that I've forgotten about that I don't do in the right order. We'll see what ends up getting created in its wake. And then behind there, what am I going to do? Do I want to do you know what? That could be quite cute with a peak of colour in there. So I might just use this blue ink pad because this one's really munchy. Don't know if that's the right word. And I'm going to just use this glue mat because I can go off it, and I'm just going to peek that in there. I feel like that behind could be quite nice, a bit of a surprise, a bit of something for the eye. Let's have a look. Do we like that? What do you think? Tell me. I'm listening, I promise. Do you know what? No, don't touch it. Don't touch it. It's fine. I quite like that. I think that's a bit cool. We'll see how it ends up. It's sort of good too. It's in that, it's against the green. It's going to be a really quite a surprise. So now let's do the glue. Ha! Great tip for gluing things. This may seem like a really odd tip, but gosh, it's true. When you're gluing something, you always glue the smaller piece to the big piece. If you do that, if you think about how you do it, it actually makes sense. So I'm gluing this smaller piece. I'll just turn that around so I have a non-gluey bit. Gluing this smaller piece onto this bigger piece. Okay, I've got a bit of time for placement. So let's go and pop you down, down you go. Come on, listening. Hurry up. Don't have all day. Gosh, I really don't either. What a shame. Okay, now that's my hand tool. Mum's tool. Okay. And now let's have a look. Get you folded, foldy, and foldy. Perfect. Love it. Now we're just going to quickly grab a piece of fabric, which we did forget about before, so I'll bring that over. I've got this little drawer that says fabric scraps so that I know what's in it. And in here, I just pop little pieces. What I'm thinking is I could just do that. Yes, perfect. Gosh, I don't even have to, almost don't have to cut it. Now I do own scissors. Okay, there they are. Normal scissors should do. I haven't got the good scissors. Alrighty. Now, might just use a little bit of this fabric glue that I've got. It is fabric, you know, it will do just a slightly better hold. Okay. Now it should come out. Should come out. Isn't that annoying? Okay, there we go. We got it. This one's just a clear glue. I don't know, maybe a silicone glue, but I know that it's good with fabric. I often tend to go back to just the wood glues or the, what do you call them, the PVA glues. I find them fabulous. And since I also do macrame, they're actually really handy in macrame projects, just when you need to add a little bit of security at the end. Sometimes when you're nodding off, it's nice if you're doing it, especially for someone else, that you just add a little bit of glue that just, as I said, adds a little bit of security. So I've always got PVA or wood glue. Okie dokie. But apparently they're a proper glues that you should have, and I don't really know what they are. Now that's going to sit in there upside down, but that's for, oh, actually it doesn't have to. It could just go like that, couldn't it? Why not? Then it looks like a bit of a sky. I like it. Okie dokie. That, I think that works, because I feel like that will give a little indication that that is what you can have a little peek into, that you can open it further, because that's what I want people to feel like, that they can just keep opening. I'm trying to do a lot more little flaps and secret openings and things like that. I think there's something about that exploration in a junk journal. You never know which bit's going to open up and which bit doesn't. Just pop that in there. I find that if I put my needles in the glue, or my pins I should say, if I put them in the glue and leave them in there, I don't buy good enough pins, obviously, or stainless steel ones, I think is the ones you need, because they end up rusting and then my glue gets all discoloured. This one's just a regular craft glue. See, I've always got a couple of glues around. I feel like this just needs, I feel like this kind of glue holds better. I haven't really tested that. I probably should do a few different little projects where I try some different glues on different things at different times. Now, I really like, oh, that's all right if you're not hidden. You can just sit there. It gives them an idea, gives them another little extra clue, hey, that there's something inside. Them. It's funny me saying them, but sometimes I do give my journals away when I make them, but I don't actually sell them. I think I just never get around to it. It's not really the, and I'm probably not really at that point where I feel like they're right. But yeah, it's a lot of time to get out to markets and all those sorts of things, or run a little store. Okie dokie. Then I go and get my, I finally got one of these teeny weeny little hole punches. So here I would like to get you just about center. Yep. Now I've got this little bit, oh, I need to get the little papers that I wanted to add into that on the back. Which ones did I decide? So I was thinking something like these. Do you know what? A little bit of a rough piece there could be cute. Actually, I think you'd be better. So if I get, I think what I'll do is I'll get these 3 bits together. Might go 3 bits in this one. How about that? Woohoo! Really, you know, taking risks, big risks, you know, really stepping out there. How many bits of scrap paper am I going to use? Oh my goodness, I'm going to use 3, not 2 like I did in the last one. Oh, well, maybe I'm not, because it's too hard to tear. We'll see. We'll see. Let's try this way. Let's go. There we go. 1 and 2, and I'm trying to make it look really rough so that it feels like there's that kind of an effect when I put them in. I was going to keep those pieces, but we'll take them off. That's okay. I'll get rid of my gluing mat so I don't get glue. See? I've just glued you down. Woohoo! Just got you off. Excellent. Lucky I'm not doing the back, hey? Okay, sorry. Dropped a few bits. Just had to disappear there for a second, but I'm back. Don't you worry. Don't you worry about that now. Okay, I actually want you a bit more rough, I reckon. There we go. That's looking a bit more rustic. Rustic, one of my favourite words. I think it's my excuse. I pretend that I make things rustic on purpose. Nobody will ever know. But actually, I make them rustic because I'm not very good at making them neat. So that's how they come. Okay, and I might just put a little bit more. But I really do like the look. I like that weathered kind of individual feel of rusticness. Is that a word? I don't think it is. I use lots of words that aren't words. I might make that a little bit like a petticoat. Petticoat is when you have different levels. So you have, see how that's like that. That's a petticoat. I do learn some things occasionally. Now if I stick you in there as well, that'll do. Okie dokie. Now the tricky bit. I don't think I'm going to ink those. I think they're fine the way they are. Add some variety. There we go. See, I just worked out the thing that I should have done first. I should have inked this background and my cover before I stuck all this down, or at least before I stuck the belly band down. So there you go. That's the bit that I forgot to do in order. Oh, I think that's cute. And then you can open up like that. Okay, now if I go into my folder, this is where I tend to, just at the moment, keep my stamps. I'm just going to get out some butterflies. I find this an easier way to keep my clear stamps. They just go all over the place. And I don't want them to get stuck together or anything like that. So this, for the time being, I just have done this week. We'll see how it goes. But for the time being, it seems to be working. I would like some background. So I really like this clock. I'm going to use this clock. And I think I'll grab a text one. I'm actually thinking, now that I've got you, let's just pop a little bit of, that just highlights it a bit. And inside I'm going to do just the whole stamp pad, and then I get a little something something. All right, now I actually have a heat gun, so I'm just going to dry that off. You ready? Close your ears. It's not that bad, but I bet it's louder on the video. You are literally watching paint dry. Oh, ink. Close enough, hey? But that's what it is, watching ink dry. There we go. Do, 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 do. Okay, that is enough for now. Now, if I pop you underneath, then yes, that will work. This little flappy thing. I love this little gadget. Okay. What am I doing, you ask? I'm trying to get more space so that I can pull this back and ink it. Now I don't know which one was the brown and which one was the grey. That's all right. We'll just do both. We'll see. Anyone who's a professional stamp pad person would be horrified to see what I just did. So I apologise in advance. But look, there you go. I got such a great colour. Now, if I turn it the other way, why not? Let's see how that works. Might work, might not. If it doesn't, we can find a way to play and work it out. Okie dokie. There's that okie dokie again. Let's do the same, hey? Let's just do both again. All right, I've got that now. I'm just going to play a bit more with that. Before I go though, let's do a little bit of this side, hey? Pop you down there. And now I'm going to grab you. And this is where I kind of play. This is where I say people who actually look after their stamps would be absolutely horrified watching this. There we go. And now I'm going to add a little bit of you to the front. A little something something. So that's why this is all different colours, because I just muck about. I really love that look of text going through things. I like that, and then I feel like if I add a bit more, then it'll look like something. It may not. Let's see. Pop you there, pop you there. Maybe, yeah, a little bit going in another direction. Okay, so that's the grey. Now I know that. I feel like if I use this one, I can't be bothered getting my little stamp mount out, but I'm sure this will be fine. It'll be fine. Will it be fine? We'll see. I'm sure it'll be fine. No one will know. No one will know. No one will know. You know what though? I'm going to cheat and use this little folder. There we go. And then that'll lift it. Cool. And then I can use this little folder for my butterflies. I think that might actually end up being enough on the front. We'll see. Once I add these two little butterflies, we'll see what we think. Because, you know, I value your opinion. You're not sure? You don't think it's going to work out? I'm sure it will be fine. It'll look like it was meant to be like that. Oops. See? Don't speak too soon. Okay, let me add a little dragonfly. Where can you go, buddy? How about you go off the edge? Now, the nice thing about these clear stamps is sometimes, if you're really, really careful, you actually can put in a little bit more. Ooh, that worked. There we go. And that's why you use these folders, because then you can keep building up if you need to. But of course, I didn't. Now, I'm going to, I think, let's add a little bit of purple around the edge. Let's go hard. Strong. That's it. Let's really get in there to really give this a big, thick border. And then that'll make it feel more like a cover. I think. We'll see. Might not be enough. It's funny how this always works so much better when you're not showing someone. You know, the second that you show someone. Okay, I'm happy with that. What do you think? Do you think that works? I think it works. We'll see. Now inside, I think we might just need a bit more around. So let's do that. Let's also get a bit more of this gold going. Edges, I think, is where we want that. I hope you can see this. I really don't know how to set up my lights. You think I would, Used to work with professionals who did it though, so I just would get them to do it all. I'd organise all the equipment that they needed, and then I'd let the talented people do it. Okay, now let's get a bit of scrap paper. You can just see me reaching, can't you? Okay, there we go. Pop you underneath so that I can just go to town. I just find it's hard, might not be able to see that detail on the camera. I hope you can see something. But that, we're almost done. Now, I thought instead of doing some little note paper on this one, I had these printables. These are actually from Pam's printables that she does on Etsy's at the Paper Outpost, which she very kindly lets us use. So thank you, Pam. Shout out to her. And I thought they might be really cute. Just quickly go around the edges because they're kind of like a journal card. They're also got just a little bit of interest for someone to look at. It's a little bit more interesting than a plain piece of paper. I love vintage old papers and things that people have written on with their handwriting and all those sorts of things. I think it's just fabulous. So I thought on the back, if I just ink around, I'm sure I'm out of camera, so we'll learn for next time, hey? But then I thought it might be nice with just a little butterfly or something. How about this little dragonfly? I think he'd be cute. So I'm just going to pop him. Oops. Now, where am I going to put him? On the center or in the corner? I think he might be nice in the center. And when I printed these out, I just printed them out on slightly thicker cardboard. Now, is that printed? No, because I had another butterfly under it. Okay. I'm not going to be able to get this. There we go. That's not too bad. And I'll do the same on that one. And in fact, you see those things that people do, like a big, I might just do it on just one of the cards and we'll see how that looks. Where they do like a stamp over another piece. There we go. And I did the same rotten thing again. I need to get better at doing my stamping. That's why I do lots of this kind of effect, because I'm not very accurate and I'm not very good at looking after my stamps. Okay, so let's have a look at what we ended up with. So then that just can just stick down onto a page in my journal. We've got the cover, and then that open it up, and it's all quite nice and flat. I'll put it under my press. I've got a video on how I have my little home press, which I'll try and link to if I can work out how to do that. Ooh, they're like some little journaling cards that someone can add something to. Lovely little secret surprise. Then we open up our little secret door. Got some little notes that we can write on in there, and because I've left that open, they can actually replace them if they'd like to. And then we've got our little card.
And that's what we made today. I hope you enjoyed, and I'd love to see your own creations and your versions. This is Jen's Arty Inclinations, a place to create and play.